Nothing cooler than controlling your own destiny. You win, you play for a Pac-12 championship on December 5th. Welcome inside our San Francisco studios. It's Football Weekly, the digital edition. Mike Yam, Neuheisel, Yogi Roth with you. I'm referring to the 8th-ranked team in the country, UCLA, matching up against a Stanford team. They've had some issues with this Cardinal team. What's the formula? What's the recipe right now for the Bruins to win?
UCLA has not beat Stanford since 2008, and to do so...
Do you remember why you remember that?
Because I was there. The way to beat Stanford is you have to solve the defense. Right now, Stanford's defensive front is the most dominant defensive front in the Pac-12. They push the pile, they get in the quarterback's face, and it doesn't take extra guys to create that kind of pressure. And when you couple that with the best tackling secondary in the conference, you've got a very, very prolific defense. That's why it's been number one in this conference for some time. For UCLA to solve that problem, they're going to have to be able to run the ball. Remember this, when they went to the conference championship just a few years ago, Jonathan Franklin ran for over 200 yards. They were within a field goal of tying the game late. Didn't happen. I think UCLA is ready for the challenge this time.
I think it's all about their tempo. They've got to get going. When you're an up-tempo team, you've got to make sure you really can move the football on early downs. When you look at the last two games UCLA has played, they've done incredible on the first down of every possession, getting to that second down, getting third and short. They've averaged 11 yards against UW, over 8 yards against USC. When you rewind the clock to a year ago against Stanford, they averaged about 5 yards per play on their first down of every drive. So meaning Stanford's slowing them down. And when they can do that, all of a sudden, Brett Hundley doesn't have the tempo on offense. UCLA cannot be as effective with the way they like to push the football down the field.
Brett Hundley right now is completing over 70% of his passes, and the big reason for that is a lot of them are behind the line of scrimmage or very short, high percentage throws. And by virtue of getting the ball out of his hand, he's eliminating the sack problem that was plaguing them early in the year. And then also the guys who are catching it, as you just mentioned, are making plays with the ball. Yards after catch against USC was astounding. Stanford, again, I go back to their tackling ability. If they can keep that number to very small, as you brought up a year ago, if they keep that thing to 2nd and 8, 2nd and 7, harder for the Bruins.
You're talking about UCLA's offense, and rightfully so, Stanford's defense, but they're going to have to score some points, the Cardinal, if they're going to win this football game. Without their biggest weapon on offense, Ty Montgomery, how significant a loss is that?
Well, I think it's huge. I think with this offense, they're still trying to find their identity. Do they want to go fast? They don't want to slow down. But bottom line, they want to pound the rock. They're going to run their power play that we've diagrammed on this show time and time and time again. And UCLA defensively, they've done a really nice job of fitting it. You go back to a year ago and watch the film, did a nice job of being responsible for their gaps, great gap integrity, but it's going to be the play-action pass. And if there's one area UCLA is suspect, it's their back end. Ishmael Adams reportedly injured earlier this week. He's probably going to play, but still banged up a little bit in that back end, and that's the play-action pass when they get their tight ends and their receivers down the seam.
This will sound wild, but I think in some ways Ty Montgomery's absence from the Stanford offense might in some ways help. Certainly he's a fantastic player and he's made prolific plays, but with him being gone, you don't have to sit and focus on him. They're not going to put him in Wildcat. Now Kevin Hogan will have the Wildcat opportunities and use his legs, which I've been advocating for some time. The guys outside, you can't sit there and say it's going to Montgomery. You're going to have to play honest in the back end, and they do have a host of very talented guys, just have to rise to the occasion.
Good news for the Bruins. If they're able to do the things that you guys described, December 5th against Oregon, they will be playing for a Pac-12 championship against the Oregon Ducks, and if you're thinking about attending the game,
tell them how to go.
All you have to do is log on to pac-12.com/tickets. I've said that a few times. For Yogi Roth and Neuheisel, I'm Mike Yam. Thanks for watching, and follow us on Twitter.
Yogi's going. You and I, we're
Pac-12
right
Networks.
here.
We got the pre and the post game, baby, right here in San Francisco.
Go with him.